the 2nd of August, which is a pretty big day in regards to Bitcoin and I guess the general market. There's a lot of excitement around the German institutions coming into play. Will this be instantaneous? Probably not. They're probably going to have their plans in place for sure, but of course they'll be looking for certain prices to DCA in. Just because the floodgates are open, it doesn't mean there's going to be a massive influx of money into BTC. I mean, we can hope, could be wrong, but that's the kind of logical approach. There is so much FOMO and news surrounding Bitcoin, but we'll have a look at the technical analysis and the fundamentals in a bit. Of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps the algorithm and getting the BlockParty name out there, so please support us if you like the content. And also hit the notifications bell icon so you can never miss one of these awesome market watch updates or news with blocks or some of Reggie's dojos. Really helpful in getting an edge on the market. And of course, check out our website at www.blockpartytrading.com. We have just released the beta version of the crypto calendar. This again is extremely helpful to get an edge on the market, as it will, well, it just gives you a crypto calendar for all of the prominent crypto upgrades and releases, and they're all hand selected as well, so it's not all just nonsense ICOs and airdrops that clutter up your crypto news feeds. As mentioned, these are all hand selected buyers at the moment, and it's free for now, but you can also integrate it with your personal calendar as well, so you'll get notifications either from us via email 30 days, 7 days and 1 day before the event. Or you can put it into your own calendar, and manage it yourself. Of course, always remember, buy the rumor, sell the news. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward, but also makes you a hell of a lot of money. Anyway, let's get into some Bitcoin analysis. As you can see up here, we've got the 1 hour and 1 day chart, and that's what we're going to be looking at primarily today. So let's jump straight into the 1 hour chart. And here I've just popped on a few notes prior to all this. Right up here, just yesterday, Saturday saw a big old tight consolidation, and it was setting us up for a textbook bull flag. Now, in any kind of circumstance and in most markets, you would see this go straight up, straight to the moon, and get some real good pump action going on there. Whilst we did see a bit of a pump, it was met with some hard resistance at 42,550. which is kind of seems to be popping up over and over again with resistance wise. However, I argue Sundays do give some really erratic market behavior. Had it have not been a Sunday, I do believe this would have broken through and gone pretty much straight up to 45k. But Sundays are strife with retail traders, and don't necessarily know what they're doing in a professional sense, so they probably had this resistance as their get out of jail card. If they'd have been bought into Bitcoin at a pretty bad time and they're only short-term traders, then yeah, sure, sell, it's fine. But at the end of the day, it's not actually the worst thing in the world. After has been pretty much in a vertical tear for about the past 9-10 candles, daily candles, I think. We were overdue a correction, and to have a little bit of a small kind of dump like this is not a bad thing. It hasn't gone straight through any real kind of key resistance support, should I say. We should start kind of raising eyebrows if we break down 38.5k, even more so 36.3k. And then, of course, back down to this level, which is where we broke out on this Amazon news just back here on the 26th of July. That was really significant because it broke us above some key resistances. If we break back down there, then yeah, things are going to start to get a little bit slow again. We could end up revisiting 31k and get back into this very annoying range for Bitcoin. And volume will just start to bleed out of the market again. So we don't really want that. That being said, frustratingly, we do have a CME gap down here at 34.5k. I'm just going to take the middle part here. It does range between 32.2k and also all the way up to 34.5k. But the middle part is around about 33.3k. So we could see a visit down there. CME gaps do pretty much always get filled at some point. So whether it's now or in a few months' time, I don't know. We do have another CME gap way further up at around about 45k, which is where my kind of general targets are at the moment, given how bullish not only the technical analysis is looking with new higher highs, higher lows, but also primarily because of all the news surrounding it. So we've come down to pretty significant support just at the moment, down to 39.3k. It's quite significant in that we do have, you know, trend lines. It was a nice garish red trend line for you there, guys. But you know, we do have kind of trend line support forming here. We do have historical support. I think this is quite a historical support. Yeah, it's going back to about here. We do have support there, and it's bounced off there quite nicely. But what else we got going on? So we have pretty much two scenarios that I have mapped out. One is if we stay within this range and above 39.4k, 3k region, then I do believe, and this was a bit of a prediction from a while ago, that we'll kind of sit within this ascending triangle. It could go right up here, or it could play out the full length of it before it really pumps up and gets enough juice to go really, really far beyond this 42.5k resistance wall, which, you know, this is the new 50, I think it was like 55k, I can't remember, 60k like resistance. This is the new big resistance to break, so we're going to need something pretty spectacular to break through it. If we stay in this range, you know, and get some decent consolidation and continued positive news around Bitcoin, then sure, we'll get through that, no problem. I am bullish, so I do believe we will continue within this little triangle and break above. We do have to look at the bearish scenario here. If we break down here, there are a couple of lifelines that can happen based on a couple of these supports here. If we break down, we can still bounce back and get back into this consolidation triangle, and these could essentially just be stop hunters. Although there is the option where we just end up tanking straight towards this CME gap, which is very, very realistic. If we get some very badly timed FUD news that comes out, which, let's face it, it happens, we could tank on down. So I'll be honest, I'm not going to be shorting Bitcoin. Even if we do go down here, I'm not going to be shorting Bitcoin. I'm just a little bit conscious of all of these German institutions floating around at the moment. If we do go down to these key resistances, you better believe there's going to be some bounces coming in, and I, for one, don't want to be trying to play Bitcoin in a short at the moment. But of course, you know, this is just for educational purposes. Your investments are your responsibilities, and these are not this is not trading advice in any sense. So let's have a look at the daily. Oh, let's flip back quickly to the 1 hour and just have a look at some of the indicators. So these are indicators all derived from the Alpha Suite, available at BlockParty Trading through the premium channel service. And the most significant one that I want to look at the moment, volatility is starting to come back in, as you can see up here on the volatility index. The USA is not online at the moment. They could come on relatively bullish, given it's Monday and we're holding support quite well. But I did want to take note of a few of these reversal indicators down here. We've got the oversold indicator, which is an oversold oscillator, which includes various different oscillators from, you know, the RSI, the stock, the MFI, and a couple of custom ones in there as well, to really give a good confirmation of, are we in oversold territory, or, you know, and avoid as many of these false signals as possible. We're in a dip as well, so, you know, the price is overstretched in the actual kind of movement of the price, as well as opposed to the relative strength. And then finally as well, our custom indicator, the BPT index, is showing it's oversold, but there's also volume coming in as well. So again, that is a very, very significant indicator. As you can see here, we've got our other equivalent one here, which is the RSI version. When that last fired, it went up 10%. So we've got one of those firing right now. And that plays out then, and we go to where I kind of think we're going at 42.5k. That's about a 7% jump. It is dependent on whether we hold this support. You know, all bets are off if we break down there. So let's have a quick look at the daily. There is one pretty significant thing that I do want to kind of look at a bit here, which is this trend line here. And when you see two peaks get like that, you don't really pay too much attention. Of course it's there. And I did base this previous prediction something in and around that there with these key resistances. However, it has crossed it almost perfectly, and prior to that it has followed the this trend line, or where the trend line was going, pretty much perfectly. So this trend line is a little bit more significant than first thought. As you can see, historically, this descending wedge has played out, perfectly. And we are currently rejected this trend line and coming into this triangle. I see this little area here as being the main part where Bitcoin needs to really break out. If we break out of this trend line here, and most significantly this exact section where this prediction comes up here on the 41.3k, if we break through on this 41.3k, then I think all bets are pretty much off. I think we are going straight up. We're going to get back into a whole new range, a whole new channel, which could sit somewhere between 50 and 40k, and then we're going to start on this next descending triangle to push further and further up. Not really much to be said there. I mean, we've kind of looked at the shorter term analysis of Bitcoin on the 1 hour, but the daily is looking very, very bullish. If we can get above 41.3k, realistically, that is an incredibly bullish sign, and I think we will. We're on the cusp of so much news coming out. Jack Dorsey's just bought Afterpay today for 29 billion or something like that, which is going to be obviously accepting Bitcoin. I expect Elon Musk will probably be announcing some point this month, or at certain significant resistances, acceptance of Tesla. No doubt there'll be some more news surrounding that. But the most notable thing that I've noticed this month, or this week, shall I say, is a lot of kind of regulatory bodies, such as like Bank of America, or prominent figureheads within the financial world, are starting to turn relatively bullish on Bitcoin. And it's not necessarily out of them changing their attitude, it's more of this acceptance of it's not going away. You can't just get rid of Bitcoin, that's kind of pretty obvious. But also they are starting to see that, hang on a minute, are we just being a little bit stubborn? Are we looking to take it down? Because obviously it will cost the financial system a hell of a lot of money, because they can't monopolize on a lot of, holding of money. It's an interesting one, and I think they're going to have to start twisting and turning to fit the BTC model or crypto model rather than the other way around. So yeah, keep your eyes on that, and I think there should be some news dropping soon that will push this to the moon. Anyway, guys, my general play with Bitcoin at the moment is to, let's flip back to the 1 hour chart, is to pretty much long it to 42.5k. Again, as mentioned, I am not interested in shorting. We are going into a brand new week. Relative volume, proper volume should resume. I'm hoping we don't drop down. I'm kind of a bit fed up of any bearish sentiment now with Bitcoin. We've been going through the motions for the past 2 months, so let's just get back into a nice bullish motion. Anyway, yeah, so going long 42.5k from here. All or nothing, guys. Anyway, so when we put out the general vote on the BlockParty channels for which coin we're going to cover this week, this market watch, it is going to be Cardano. I am not sad to be doing that one. Amazing. Let's get straight into Cardano or ADA. And this really is such an exciting project. If you haven't heard of ADA, then well, I'm assuming you're probably not in crypto. This is going to be potentially a top 3 project that will come into it once this smart contract release goes fully live and up and running at some point this month. Then there really is no reason. We see so much support in the ADA and Cardano community, but most notably from places like MEXC being listed there. One of the more recent ones is Grayscale, taking on a big focus on Cardano. It gives you a bit of a sentiment of where it's going. It's probably a genuine like ETH killer, in that the applications, what it can do and where it's going can potentially outstrip Ethereum, which is pretty cool. So again, completely educational and entertainment purposes only, but personally I hold Cardano. I think it's really is only going one way. But keep your eye on the finalization of the smart contracts from this Alonzo project coming out at some point in August. I think this will cause an insanely parabolic pump. That's just where I think it's going from a fundamental standpoint. But let's have a look at the more kind of technical analysis side of things. Unsurprisingly, you know, we are following Bitcoins to a relative kind of confluence, as all cryptos do. You know, we aren't seeing any decouplings just yet. Everyone still talks about Ethereum, but that still follows it like a tiny little dachshund on a very short lead. But what are we seeing? So we are seeing a very, very, very significant and apparent symmetrical triangle in a consolidation period. The more we zoom out, the more realistic, more apparent it becomes. But let's have a look at the lower, more closer time frame. Back here we saw a bat harmonic pattern appear, and you know, it rang true there. It just kind of continued up on this upward trajectory. Nothing too special to report in the hourly. It's more probably in the daily where things start getting a little bit more exciting. However, let's get a little bit closer down here. We are coming to the end of this consolidation cycle within Cardano, and we are at the bottom side of it, so relatively short term we'll probably be retesting from 1.3238 or $1.32, let's say. We'll be going up to about $1.368, or $1.36 should I say. So about 3% rise, and I think we're going to rattle around here before we make a move up or down. I would be quite heavily surprised if it's down. There's not really too much reason it should be, certainly from a fundamental standpoint, but of course we are you know, at the mercy of Bitcoin. We are not on the actual oscillators themselves. Nothing is overbought or oversold here. In fact, we're actually seeing quite a nice bounce on the alpha wave, as you know, as the trend lines kind of dictate. Even here as well, look at that. I mean, we are well firmly just testing this support just here, and yeah, let's give it a little bit more realistic. I think this, to me, dictates that a bit of a reversal is coming in. Very, 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 very confirmed support there. We've broken up, retesting. If you want to do a very short-term trade on Cardano for about 3%, I think you'd be pretty safe to do that. Yeah, I just don't see us going down there at all. Let's have a quick look at the daily, and then this is really where the sparks are flying. So as we can see, we have this incredibly significant support at $1.01. This to me looks like it's potentially the new bottom for Cardano at $1. I mean, for just basic kind of psychological milestones, that seems like a pretty logical bottom at $1. So we do see a trend line here. I wouldn't say that's exactly a very, very heavy supported trend line. That's just the automated one. If we're going to draw on one that is probably a little bit more realistic, then it would look probably something like that. In fact, let's just drop the trend off there so we don't get too confused. On here as well, you see some of the key supports. We could actually add another one in here. I'd deem that as a support. We kind of hit there and there as well, and come straight through. So we have just tested this upper this upper trend resistance just here, and it is deciding whether it's going to break through or fly back down here. As I mentioned earlier on, I think we can see about 3%, a potential 3% test up there. But if we do get rejected, then we could see as much as a 22% drop to come back into this. Although that's not necessarily a bad thing. Make sure if you are trading this, you have your DCA set up. Don't go all in on a bag right at key trend line resistance. That is just, well, just a gamble, to be honest. What else we got going on? We're not oversold. Whoopsie daisy. Where have we just gone? There we go. Let's get back onto ADO. Really wanted to go over to the FTT chart then. Yep. So we are coming on the shorter time frame, a little bit oversold on the RSI and BPT index, and you know, we can see on the chart here that we're just testing the upper side of the descending triangle. So watch this space, guys. To be quite honest, in the shorter time frame, if we don't break here and we start to see ourselves track back down below, I'd say around about $1.30. No, sorry, beg your pardon. That's wrong. I'm looking at the wrong number there. If we see ourselves go down below about $1.30, then I would probably deem that as a bit of a rejection, and we could see a continued downward movement to the $1.01, $1.02 region, where we'll continue to wrestle down until we break out up here. So let's draw this on to make life a little bit easier. So if we continue down to around about $1.30 below, then we could continue down here before we make a tremendous breakout. Now we do have a very bullish option. If Bitcoin goes well and this smart contract goes well, we could break out quite sharply here, back down, and then it's all looking bullish from here. Either way, I am very, 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 very bullish on Cardano. I can't really see this going sub $1. So in that case, you see these lines on here. Let me just take off that one, and these lines right here are where I'd probably be placing my DCA buys at. I'd buy a small bag now. You know, it could break up. If it doesn't, then, you know, it's a small bag, who cares? But then as it goes down, I'd double my bag at $1.70. Sorry, $1.17, and then again at $1.01, and just to give a little bit of kind of hoping that something like, see here where this wick came down here and was immediately rebought, just give it a little bit of space to pop down and come back up. Again, I just don't see, with the kind of institutions that are getting involved now, this is going to be a real kind of exciting price action zone. There's going to be a lot of buys going on around these. The good thing with ADA in this chart is the supports and resistances are just so obvious and so significant that everybody's going to be looking at these for where their buys are going to be going and taking place. So yeah, do what the institutions are doing. Don't trade like a retail trader. Trade like an institution, and just get your DCA buys set up and ready to go. Pretty good though, otherwise. Cardano is a great project. I would 100% be getting in on that. Again, of course, all educational and entertainment purposes. I am not giving you trade advice. But anyway, so that concludes our market watch today. All looking pretty bullish in general. Of course, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe, and drop in the comments below for the altcoin that you might want me to cover on the next market watch in, I think, 3 days. Or join the BlockParty channels, BlockParty Trading on Telegram. Check out our new 911 to Porsche 911 challenge, which is where we take $911 account all the way up to a Porsche 911. It's going incredibly well, making between about 0.5 to 1% per day. You can follow us along with that. You can find that on Telegram, t.me/BPT challenge. Until then, guys, I will catch you at the next market watch. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave any comments down below with any topics you may want us to cover. Of course, please give us a follow on Instagram at BlockParty Trading. Check us out on Twitter at BlockParty Trade. Of course, we invite you to join our free Telegram channel, which features loads of free trades and news updates, and you can find us at BlockParty Trading.